Okay, so last time I went apparently way too fast and the screen was way too small. So let's try again. Um, right, I do this because I have 2 hours extra in my day and I want to do something new. Again, I use pod emulator to emulate the pod, see how it works, and mainly on TypeScript and Yaoman. Back to the demo. Let me do it one more time with the bigger screen so that everybody can see. And you guys let me know if it's still tiny. Is the code this time big enough? Okay, nobody see anything. I'm gonna assume.
I think can you zoom in a little more?
How about it?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So, where am I? Okay, so this is the chatbot. I use Yaoman to generate this whole thing. Basically you can just generate a chatbot using Yaoman. You can just do Yaoman generate and then chatbot. It will just show up and you fill out a bunch of information to customize your chatbot. And here it is. So again, last time I showed you guys this diagram, this new feature that I found from Visual Studio Code. It's pretty cool. You can draw a diagram inside Visual Studio Code. So if you can just install as an extension and then just .draw.io and it will do this thing. So basically, once again, this is my chatbot. And if I'm a client, I send a message and then it will go to a pod adapter, meaning it's just gonna translate it to a pod language and logic, and then it will send to the API. From there, it will go through process. Okay, if I receive this kind of message, what do I do with it? Once it found the correct response, it will send back to the adapter, and then the adapter will send back to the client. And let's go to my chatbot, and here the cool thing with npm is with Yaoman is when you generate it, it comes with a very detailed README file that show you everything. It's basically explain everything about this chatbot, how to run it, how to stop it, and this is how I connect to my chatbot. It gives this API URL, and then I can just do npm start to start running my program. Oh, okay, and it said to talk to your bot, just put that URL in, and here I am in the pod emulator. Is it big enough? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I can just click open port bot, and then paste this URL in and hit connect. It will bring me to the live chat here. So as you can see, it's kind of show what's going on in the background as well with the JSON file and everything. So here, this is what I program it to be. First thing, it's gonna tell me to like ask who Kim is, and I'm going, okay, who is Kim? And it will respond with a link sending to my profile, to my page. And if I say help, it will send me to Google. And the rest, whatever I say, it will just repeat me because that's how I program it to be. So it's not right for now, not very smart, but it does what I want it to do. And as you can see, every time I do something, it sends stuff back and forth, and everything shows right here on the right-hand side. And a little bit more explanation about the library. So basically, if I go into source and bot.ts, this is all of my main stuff for my bots. As you can see here, if I say if any of my messages have the what help, it's just gonna send the link to Google. And if any of my message contains what Kim, it's just gonna send my website, and the rest just repeat this is the welcome part, the welcome message. Every time you start the pod, it will just tell you that message. And then pretty much that's it. Oh, and this index.ts, this is where it was generated with Yaoman. I didn't really have to do anything with it. This is where you have the adapter and other stuff that was defined. Everything's in here. And library, of course, it has all the JavaScript file that generated from the TypeScript. Yeah, and that's it. And back to my presentation. So what else can I do with my pod? I can deploy it to Azure Text Analytics, and it will make it much more smarter. It's basically a service on Azure, and you can generate, you can install, you can embed it to your bot, and it will link to. They have their own library. They worked it out already, so then it can do a lot more other kind of questions rather than just repeating like I did for my program. So kind of these things, after you install the analytics in, you can deploy it to Azure and send it to the world. So everybody out there can access your bot, and you can. The cool thing with Yaoman is that you can use it for any of your platform, and so as Azure. So say you create a bot and then you want to use it for, I don't know, Facebook, your own school website or anything. It's very well possible. And I also create a detail blog. It's on Medium, and on this blog I sum everything down so that you guys, if you follow this instruction, hopefully you can finish everything in 1 hour. This is all the stuff that you need and a very detailed walkthrough for you guys. And I also provide a little quick demo and resources and more tutorials for you guys if you want to further deploy or make your pod more complicated. So check it out if you want to. Yeah, and so pretty much that's it. If you have 2 hours of your day and don't feel like watching movies, go build a bot, because like Sam said, while you're sleeping, others are getting hired. So use your time and do something interesting. And that is all for my presentation. Any questions?
Okay. Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
First, are you using any intelligence here, or some built-in machine learning algorithm or whatever? Yeah.
Actually, no, it's very manual. It's basically everything. It comes from my code in the bot.ts. Yeah, it's very
just text processing, keyword matching. Oh, okay. And then second one, so can we improve this one for our TA center? Some kind of typical question, then this bot can answer and can save your time. Then while you are sleeping, this bot is making money for you. How about that?
Yeah, definitely. It's very easy. And actually this Yaoman that I use, they have different types of chatbot. So they have the empty one you can build from scratch, and I use this one as an echo, meaning it's just repeating stuff, but I modify my code. And then there's another one that it does more text processing. So but the other one is more complicated to use if you don't have any experience. But there are other options, and it's totally free to generate and then modify it. And one more thing with this in Azure, it's that I didn't deploy it because to deploy on Azure's Analytics, to use Azure Analytics, you have to pay, and I was lazy. I didn't want to pay, but it's probably very cheap. But I think even without this, you can just use Yaoman and their built-in libraries and stuff. We should be able to at least put in some most common questions. Yes.
Oh, also you use the TypeScript, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, and another reason why I use, yes.
Do we need to learn TypeScript if we want to create our own chatbots?
I would say not exactly. It's very simple. If you go on Yaoman and on the resources that I sent you, they already have some kind of snapshots of sample codes, and the code is really easy to understand. If you do Python, if you look at TypeScript, you should be able to understand it already. It's very straightforward. And if you don't know anything, I realize that there are a lot of resources about chatbots on TypeScript. And I have put all of them in my article here. So they have a lot of sample codes for you to just copy and paste and modify it. So after 1 hour of you copying and paste other people's code, you should be able to kind of understand what each pieces of code do.
Could you post your article link in the chat box?
Yeah, definitely. Also, another comment, I chose this one. It's because it's on TypeScript and JavaScript, and it is closely related to the AAP program because we have this course, full stack on TypeScript and JavaScript. So that's why I choose this one. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, King. So when if I want to import, because you are building a live chat system, so it's kind of like tool. So if I want to import in some system inside, sense that want to import it in our TA centers. So is there only way to do it use the bot friend the friend tools?
There are several ways. So Yaoman is one of the ones that seems to be very common according to my research. But there are other ones that I found here on Azure. They have like these little courses for free. If you go on education, Azure Education, and then they have a quick, very short course to teach you how to build a chatbot using Azure as well. So that's another option. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, no? No? Okay.
Okay, looks like we don't. Right, thank you, Kim.